Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is the minutes from our last meeting. I did not have anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 20th as presented.
Thank
All
you.
those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jane.
You're very welcome. And I will make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right. Next on the agenda is the contribution assurance program.
Sure, so also.
We'll do that right now before you.
Primex offers a contribution assurance program for all their members who have longevity in the pool, in their insurance pool. So they do it for a 3-year period of time. They're operating the town of Lincoln for the next 3 contract years to enter into this agreement where they wouldn't raise their prices essentially more than 7% each year. If you look at what we paid last year to what we paid this year of the 21 budget to the 22 is a 13% increase. So I think it is beneficial for the town to lock into it, especially with the way the world is right now. And, not knowing kind of what the 23 renewal will look like. I think it would be beneficial for the town to sign into this. 7 is the max. If it's not 7, if it comes in at 6 or whatever, it will be reduced, but 7 is the max.
I think it's fantastic.
What's the downside of signing? Or not, if we didn't sign it?
Well, that we would just essentially be going annually year-to-year contract with them. So I don't see a downside personally.
Okay.
Every other community I've worked in has always been part of this program. I'm not quite sure why the town of Lincoln hasn't been part of it, but I think it's beneficial. I mean, insurance rates aren't going down.
No.
Rarely do we ever.
Is it, we were with a different insurance company
We were.
with,
Travelers.
Oh, travelers. So maybe you didn't have, there's like a 5-year threshold or some sort of threshold that you need to be
before they.
before they offer it. So, quite possibly. Because it does say essentially for members who have demonstrated commitment to the private school.
There you go.
How many years have you been in that?
7.
Primex,
No.
Probably not
We
that
we
quite
were
long.
travelers.
2 years with Travelers.
Right.
And then prior to that, I think we were with Primex for 3. We were with them for a while. Then we took a
And then we
2-year
went 2
break.
years with Primex, and then, Travelers are back to Primex. Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
yeah.
It used to be higher. It used to be guaranteed at 9%. Right now, they're guaranteed at 7%.
Yeah,
So,
I see no reason to not enter into a 3-year contract and cap at 7%. Makes sense to me.
The big bonus on?
I'll bet my bonus.
No, I will. Like I said, the way insurance rates, I mean, I
Sure.
would be surprised.
Yeah, no.
Like I said, I looked at 21 and what happened from 21 to 22 and it's 13. So I said, that's kind of a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer anyway, because if it's lower, it'll be lower.
It will be lower.
It just won't go above
Just
7.
cap
So,
it.
yeah,
It caps at 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to enter. the
So we
3
need to do a very specific motion, so I'll give you the language.
That would be perfect.
All right, the motion is to hereby accept the offer of the New Hampshire Public Risk Management and Exchange, Primex, to enter into its property and liability contribution assurance program as of the date of the adoption of this resolution, and to be contractually bound to all of the terms and conditions of the Primex Risk Management Pool membership during the term of the property and liability contribution assurance program. The coverage provided by Primex in each year of membership shall be then set forth in the coverage documents of the Primex. I attest I'll sign the attestment after we vote on it then.
Yes.
So I'll make that as a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So therefore, I attest that the foregoing is a true copy of the resolution of the governing board of the town of Lincoln adopted on July 11th. Excellent. All right. Do you have anything else before we move into the abatement?
No.
Section? All right. Yeah.
Have to sign that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Page 2, but not the back of page 1. All right, we're gonna go through a bunch of these abatements, and this is the last batch that we're getting from them, as far as you know.
It is, it definitely is. We went through them all, so
Okay.
yes.
All right. The first one is, we don't have,
Oh, the tax,
that's all right. I'll just read the map.
the tax cards aren't attached when they were attached.
That's what was
Okay.
given to me.
Some of them are.
Okay.
This one has 2 properties, that's why
Oh,
it's not. All right, the first one is for map and lot number 118-004-00002-00005. The previous assessment was $906,700. The recommended revised assessment is $815,000. The taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel their value is high compared to other condos in this development. And due to the fact that the unit was furnished and included 2 newer snowmobiles in the purchase price. It is typical of condo units to self-furnished, and those higher values typically have higher value furnishings, which unless you have an appraiser value them, it's difficult to place an accurate value. However, snowmobiles are considered personal property. This condo was one of the sales during the reval, and prior to its sale, previous owner completely renovated the unit with high-quality components, which was not known until the sale happened. This generated a change in grade and condition for the renovations. In review of this sale, I found that no inventory of property transfer, the PA 34 form, was completed at closing. This form is a document we use in verifying the sale, as it has places for taxpayer to list facts about the sale, like having snowmobiles included. Not all units get renovated, and some that do are not to the extent or quality of another. This caused valuation differences, as a condo that has not been updated or renovated is worth less than one that has. This real estate market has been on a steady increase, and when that happens, market trends have to be applied to sales used for the reval. 1% per month was applied to Lincoln sale properties to determine what a sale that took place in the 2 years prior to April 1st of 21 would sell for on April 1st of 21. That being said, the sale price of $870 would trend to approximately $910,000 for April 1st, 2021. There was another sale a month after this sale of an interior unit for $902,533. I recommend adjusting the value of the condo in light of this new information regarding the inclusions of the snowmobiles. If you have any questions, please let me know. So they're recommending that we grant the change in assessment from 906 to 815. like almost a $90,000 drop.
Because of two snowmobiles?
It's gotta be more, it's more than the snowmobiles.
I think it's. the
Oh, and it's
snow-
adjusting it back to April 1st of
Okay,
21.
gotcha.
Of 21.
Okay, don't forget that that's
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
for
yeah.
the budget,
Right.
that's right.
Okay. That
so they
makes sense
take off
then.
1% per month
Per month,
from
Yeah.
the sale price. The adjusted sale price after. All right, so they're recommending that we do it at 8:15.
Make a motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The reason that property, that was the last one to come in, and it came in a few days after all the other ones, so that's probably why I didn't have the card attached to it. I was like, I'm sure we printed out the cards and the other ones, so.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then this one must have come in with it. It's the same
Same, yeah, same old.
owners,
Yeah.
different map and lot number. Map 130, lot 082. The previous assessment was 179,100. The revised assessment recommended is 160,200. The taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel that the value of their land should be the purchase price of 149,900. After reviewing the area, 3 of the abutting properties sold in the similar time frame. The prices range from 149,900 to 275. As assessors, we look at averages, individual property characteristics, and the most equitable assessment based off sales in a particular area. I have made an adjustment for topography, giving the adjusted value of 160,200, which I feel is a fair assessment. Any questions with that one?
No, I agree.
Motion,
So moved. Motion
second,
approved, yeah.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
The next one is for 7-Eleven. The taxpayer has filed an amendment for both properties and considered both in the overall opinion of value. In review of the property with the representative, we discussed some recent commercial land sales. At this time, it is my recommendation no change be made. So we're denying this,
That's the land only.
this is
portion
the
of it.
portion, right, correct, this is the land only portion. The next one is gonna have a different recommendation.
What, what's the value?
One. 468, 100.
The next one is, has to do with the same property.
Correct.
Can I hear the next one before we vote on this?
Sure. The next one is the other part of that property, but this is the one with the
With the building on it.
building on it. Just make sure. Yeah, this is the building side. The previous assessment was 1,122,300. The recommended revised assessment is 1,073,300. The taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel the property is overassessed based on the tax representative replacement cost numbers. In review of the property with the representative, we discussed the ages of the tanks, condition of the canopy, and found that their opinion of value did not include the pumps. In addition, we discussed some recent commercial sales. At this time, it is my recommendation to apply more depreciation to the tanks, pumps, and canopy based on their varying ages. That depreciation is the basis of the reduction.
How much is the reduction?
From 1,122,300 to 1,073,300, so almost 50,000.
It'd be nice if they lower their price of gas while we lower the price of their property. Make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And now go back to the land only.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you for doing that.
All right, the next one is. Give you the address instead of it. 100 Woodland Loop number 2.
You guys were signed in the wrong place.
What?
Oh, we approved
Deny.
it. Deny. I follow you everywhere.
Just scribble it out and initial it.
Don't worry, I will continue to correct you when you're wrong. There you go. John will put a nice fresh sticker over that anyway.
Just make one up.
You know, there's both approve and deny to highlight.
Thank you.
And
That's so that you know which one is which.
No.
Yeah,
my fault.
of course.
Thank you for picking up. All right,
You're welcome.
next one is, what did I just say?
100.
100 Woodland Loop number 2. That's Forest Ridge, right? The taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel the condo is overassessed compared to another similar unit. In review of both units, this unit was updated prior to the sale with granite counters throughout and laminate flooring. Unit 3 has not had the same upgrade, so it has a lower grade. The units sold just 3 months apart from each other, and this unit which was upgraded sold for $350, and the unit number 3 sold for $328. The flooring in the unit was listed as hardwood, but it is laminate flooring, so I have made the change and also recommended adjusting the physical depreciation to account for the age of the upgrades, which had been done several years ago. The previous assessment was $420,300. The revised assessment is $408,100, so $12,000 difference.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The sticker printed wrong. There's only 2 places to sign it.
Huh.
You have to sign it on the.
Let me sign
Next.
over your name.
That's fine too. Next one is 36 Lodge Road, number L303. Previous assessment was 195.7. Revised assessment recommended is 159.8. The taxpayer abatement requesting is asking for review as they feel the value should be more comparable as the unit next to them. Although this is a unique unit in the building, in speaking with the taxpayer, he indicated the unit on the parking lot side is on the parking lot side, not the river side. I recommend adjusting this unit with the parking lot side factor.
What's the previous?
30,000 roughly.
Yeah, 35,000.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Wow.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I paid more for the river view.
Never mind.
Next one. 55 Ramshorn Drive. Recommending that we deny this. The assessment is $809,700, and they're recommending no revisement. The taxpayer abatement request is based on the value being increased due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is no, in New Hampshire, there is no provision in the statute for a situation such as this, and we are required to set values based on the sales available during the reval time period. I did speak with the owner and we went over the property and it appears to be accurately listed. I recommend no change at this time. Motion to deny.
Second,
Second.
or
Sign on the
motion,
right-hand
move,
side.
whatever.
All those in favor?
Aye. I like it when they deny it. It's an easy, yep.
Next one. This is for 82B Coolidge Falls Road. The previous assessment was $988,200. The revised assessment recommendation is $885,600. The taxpayer has filed an abatement as they felt their sketch was incorrect and compared to some of the other units. In speaking with the taxpayer, we went over the sketch and I made a correction to the story height area over the garage, as the front section has nothing above it and the rear section is only a quarter story, not 1/2. The units throughout this development vary in style and desirability of location on the mountain. Many have been updated or upgraded, which causes the values to vary. In my recent review in the field, it seems there are more full-time people, and now this area has much more traffic as it's on the main road, and I'm recommending applying a similar adjustment as the 5 buildings below them on the main entrance as well.
What was the previous?
988 to 885, so about $100,000.
Can you read that thing about the story about the garage again?
In speaking with the taxpayer, we went over the sketch, and I made a correction to the story height of the garage, as the front section has nothing above it, and the rear section is only a 1/4 story, not a half.
It's more than a 1/4 story. This is a picture off of our website of that property. There's the property card.
But that's the garage is on this side here, not the back part.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
It's got 2 full windows. There's something there. I mean, literally, it's got full windows. Motion to deny.
I don't see
That's
it that
not a
way.
1/4 story. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I mean, you've got 2 full windows there. What do you need for a story?
from
7 feet?
from a foot to the right of that window to the edge is useless.
Okay,
The same way the other way.
so you still
I
got
trust,
10 feet? You figure, that's gonna be
you
an
have a
8-foot
third of the
door.
right-hand side of the garage and a third of the left.
I'm still making a motion to deny. You can second it or not.
Can we see the footprint, not just the picture? Can we see the footprint of the plan?
There you go. So the whole thing is 14 feet wide up in this area here, these 2 windows.
Yeah. This is the 1/4 that she's talking about there.
The quarter in
No.
front.
This is the part that they assessed at a half
Yeah.
story front to back.
Right,
The narrative says
it's a 1/4.
that the front section has nothing above it. The rear section is only a 1/4 story, not a half. So
The
this
rear
section
section-
here where the windows are has nothing.
And the
No
rear section
living
is bigger than
space.
the front. And there's,
Could be just a gable
Mhm.
and with 2 windows.
Well, that's it. That's, I mean, I have that in my house.
Yeah.
Big gable, big window.
But
It's
no
it's not
flooring,
finished.
no
It's just
living space.
trusses and insulation.
Well, and then I think she also goes
they-
on
but
to
they're not-
factor in.
they're
the-
still not going in these units, are they? They're just using, talking to the homeowners.
Well, I mean, if the homeowners allow them to, if they want them to, they would, but I think for the most part, it's just based on honesty, yes.
Right. I
Can
bet
we-
my bonus.
Tammy, would you be comfortable if we put this off for a couple of weeks and tell Perkins
You don't have that choice.
We
So,
don't,
right,
right,
so
yeah.
the deadline was July 1.
July 1? Okay.
So if you don't respond in a timely fashion, it's automatically considered denied.
Right.
So you have to either approve or
Right.
deny tonight.
I would be comfortable approving this, flagging it for an on-site inspection
For a pickup.
for pickup next year.
That's appropriate.
I'll agree to that. Thank you.
I'll second that.
So I'll make the motion to approve, provided we flag it.
We
for
flag it for
onsite
pickup in 2023.
Thank you.
Second that, Tim.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See, that's why they pay you the big bucks.
Mm. Right. Next one is, stuck together, 9 Ram Pasture Lane,
9 Rampasture.
yes. Which is part of Ramswamp.
Mhm.
The previous assessment was 1,408,000. The revised recommendation is 1,272,700. Taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel the condo is not equitably assessed with the other properties in town. For assessing purposes, there are different classes of property such as condominium, residential, commercial, mobile home, vacant land, etc. Each has to be assessed according to their class of property and location. With condominiums, each development is assessed based on the arm's length sales within that condo development and further breaks down to other characteristics such as interior, exterior, floor level, location, etc., which is dependent on market conditions. In this development, buildings D, G, and H have adjustments for their proximity to the slopes. In prior revals, these buildings showed higher sales price than the inner buildings. There were no sales of these units at the 2021 reval, so the factor was adjusted to be in line with the difference of the last reval. Buildings D and G had a different factor than building H. In additional review, there have been no sales in these units since the 2021 reval, and I'm recommending adjusting the location factor to be similar to that of building H. Also, when speaking with the taxpayer, they have added 2 direct vent units, which we did not have record of. Therefore, I have added those to the assessment. So they decreased it based on the location factor being similar to that of building H, but then added in the 2 direct vent units to the assessment.
There's $135,000 decrease.
Correct.
She spoke in detail. There's a similar abatement of a neighboring property. I think it's the unit right next door. And she said that she struggled with these two because there had not been any sales, there hadn't been any comparisons. She says she doesn't feel confident that if an appeal was made and it goes to BTLA, the Board of Land and Tax Appeals, that the town would have a favorable decision. So she said she did struggle with these, but without any sales, she said she would think the town would have a hard time justifying the increase. So.
Last thing he wants another lawsuit.
I mean, it's different than
I know.
when
It's still-
appeals, but I mean, basically, they lowered it to the building H location factor,
And then added for those units. I wonder what
and then added.
I wonder what the difference was, because the total now is 135.3. So I wonder how much it was before they added the other on. Location factors.
Don't know.
Struggling with it too.
Like she did say that she struggled with these two.
Is there another one? Oh, there's another one.
See,
Yeah, they're next door.
Rams one, Ram pasture, Rams one, all of those are like hen's teeth. You can't get them. They're never for sale. And if they are, they're a gazillion bucks.
All right, the next one was the same, had the same assessment, 1,408,000. The revised assessment is 1,186,000. Taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel the increase in value is too high. Speaking with the taxpayer, the unit has not been updated, so I've adjusted the condition to average. In this development, buildings D, G, and H have adjustments for their proximity to the slopes. In prior revals, these buildings showed higher sale prices than the inner buildings. There were no sales of these units at the 2021 reval, so the factor was adjusted to be in line with the difference of the last reval. Buildings D and G had a different factor than building H. In additional review, there have been no sales of these units since 2021 reval, and I'm recommending adjusting the location factor to be that similar to that of building H. This is about $225,000 adjustment based on the
222.
location.
You could do a similar thing that you did to the last one and flag them for pickups if there are any additional sales in 23 or throughout 2022.
I wonder which one is H, because on mine there's building one.
H is the one all the way to the top. Top of the hill.
So why are they basing that one?
Where is D?
There's no D. There's 2, 1, 2. You come in 1, 2, 3. And there's 4. There's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is H all the way at the top. or this one, one of those two,
Where we had the fire a few years ago.
then this one.
Okay, and she's saying that the higher,
There's still slow
Right.
side. I mean, every one there except for this one.
right,
slow
but
side.
it's lower on the mount. That's one thing looking at a flat map.
Yeah, I do. I
If
would
one of them
not
has a
flag it.
higher desirability, they're higher prices.
So they both, they're next door.
Ski out.
Are they both, they're all ski in and ski out. Everything on Ramsey one is guaranteed ski in, ski out. They
It is?
groom to the back doors.
Well,
Yes,
no,
is that-
that's not true.
Okay, I didn't think so.
They, you know, there's a few of them that are ski in, ski out, but not all.
Well, not
You know,
according to the guy that does the
I guess
maintenance
my
there.
thought is to, again, defer to the professionals as opposed to cherry picking unless we know something that is just not factual or doesn't, you know.
I
doesn't jive.
have a
But-
hard time with $222,000 abatement because they have an interior unit that's 10 feet down the hill. Sorry. No, I just can't do it.
Do you want to flag them for next year?
No, I'd like to deny them both, honestly. Let them apply it next year and let them do a little more homework on it or something. I don't know, I do. 222,000, because they're,
Oh, she also adjusted the condition to average. The unit has not been updated, so I have adjusted the condition to average, and it was average plus 10.
so that's an $87,000 difference between the last abatement of the next door unit and this one.
Probably because of the added units. Right, they're units.
So it would be more without those.
So again, we don't have a revised tax card showing the new condition, but this was average plus 10. And she's saying it's average plus 0. So it's the condition and the location.
What year was that unit built?
Ram's home?
Yeah.
Sale date of 2011, but no. Year built, 09. Approximate year built, 2009. That is not right.
Doesn't
Those
look
were
right.
built in the 80s.
Yeah, that's what,
yeah.
this one said the same thing, that's what threw me off.
Oh, I see the first, the oldest inspection was in 2009.
Right.
But
And
I
I
don't-
think a lot of our sale dates have that 09 date, because we had a gentleman who came in last week saying, I've owned it since 87 when I built it.
Right, right,
Why
right,
does it
right.
have that sale date? And I guess there was a conversion at some point in time with your softwares, and anything that was older than a certain date got plugged in with this
Until 09.
generic.
Gotcha.
Year built was 1985. The effective
That
date
makes
year built
sense.
was 2009.
So
So
that was.
that must take into like the conglomerate.
When all the units were completed.
Yeah.
Well, but when they were, what the effective year was based on renovations and condition, and
Potentially, yes.
Mhm.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
But 85 sounds,
Yeah,
I mean, I
absolutely.
remember
That
it was
sounds
the
way
80s.
better. Yeah, definitely the 80s.
all right, we have both of these Rams home ones.
I'll make the motion to approve them, but flag them.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, I
Those-
just
those-
can't. I just can't. It passes anyway, but I just can't. I just can't do it.
Should I make a note on here?
So I'll be able to do it from the minutes.
Okay.
Flag them.
All right. Done the last two. The next one is 23 Brookside Road, number 2. Previous assessment was 327.6. The revised assessment is 321.9. So we're talking $5,000. The taxpayer abatement requesting is asking for the value to be lowered to 410. However, I believe they mean 305,680 as stated in their attachment. This unit was one of the sales used to set the values in the village of Loon. Prior to the sale, the previous owners had upgraded heating, new flooring, and upgraded master bath, and the condition was listed as very good. However, the kitchen and one bathroom didn't get much of an update, so I recommend adjusting the condition to good. The units referenced by the taxpayer that are listed in the 305 range they are looking for are listed in average condition, and there are no known updates. So this is a $5,000-ish deduction based on changing the condition from very good to good.
Motion to approve.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, last one. 6 Barassa Road. They're recommending we deny this. The assessment is 194.4 and they're recommending we keep it at that. The taxpayer has filed an abatement as they feel their property is overassessed compared to some other properties they indicate as comparables. As part of the revaluation, assessors must divide the town into valuation neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods isolate locational differences or influences. The taxpayer is in residential 2 neighborhood, which are more of the in-town side street lots. The taxpayer comparables are in the residential 1 neighborhood, which is the outskirts of town headed up Route 3. The 2 neighborhoods have different land values. In addition, the comparables were mobile homes ranging in age from 1960 to 1987. The taxpayer's home was built in 2015. A better comp for land would be the neighboring lots within the same valuation neighborhood. There are 5 abutting and neighboring lots that are also 0.27 acres and have the same assessed land value. As part of the reval, there were 31 improved lots within this neighborhood used to set this value. Therefore, at this time, I recommend no changes be made.
Motion to deny.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good, I hope that's it.
That's it.
It's
That is
done.
it.
We're done.
We're
Thanks.
past the deadline, so.
Oh, and you signed in the right place.
I did. All right. Want to move on to your town manager report?
Sure. Okay, so good news, bad news. I'll start with the bad news.
Thanks.
We were formally notified that FEMA could not accept our house appropriation from Representative Custer's office. As I mentioned at the previous meeting, they had concerns because we didn't have designs or cost estimates for the EOC portion of the building, that we couldn't justify how we were going to spend that exact amount of money and how it was going to be spent just on the EOC side of things. The good side of that is her office fully supports the project and is written a letter of support for the project for us to use for future grants, and has pointed us in the direction of a community facilities grant through rural development. So they said that they'd be willing to help us facilitate getting a grant application in for that project, as well as they said once we have more formalized plans, a design for the building, our chances with FEMA would be much greater to go back in and apply again, because we could justify the expenses and have some, hard documentation behind it. So, we were a little bit early. I think we knew we were a little bit early applying for stuff, but I think, you know, as long as we stay on their radar, we'll be in good shape to apply for these two additional grants. In addition, we were notified by DOT that the Old Hole project was not accepted. They only selected one project throughout the whole state, and it was for the town of Enfield in their scenic byway.
Which starts today, the construction on that.
Right. So, but again, they wrote us a lovely letter with some areas of improvement that they said that we could think that we can make stronger in the grant application. They also suggested, and I did reach out to North Country Council, Nick from NCC, to maybe do a joint grant application together, because the North Country Council was one of the other candidates that applied for the Scenic Byways grant that didn't get it. They think if we maybe potentially combined our projects together to do the whole corridor of what they're looking at, that we could potentially have a stronger application that way. So I did shoot Nick an email, and hopefully we can work on a project together. They did offer 2 other additional grant programs that we could potentially apply for. They aren't open until the 23 year, so we have a little bit of time. We're gonna have to wait a little bit, but I think, again, that we could potentially have a stronger project if it's encompassed with NCC. So.
Did they say, mention the value of the 2 other grant programs, the limitations?
They did not.
Okay.
No. But I imagine they're much bigger than what we were working with. So, so we'll keep moving on these. We'll keep, you know, keep the door open, keep looking for opportunities to apply. But I also think that we should see what North Country Council has to offer, and maybe they could do some of the grant administration's side of things if we partner together on a project.
And yeah, I say, and if we partner together, it makes it a bigger.
Exactly,
That might
right.
get more attention.
Right, and I think that was, you know, kind of our downfall with this. They were looking at projects that were, you know, $500,000 or more. We were only asking for $250,000. I mean, we potentially could have applied for the $500,000, but we'd have to justify it with, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what we'd spend it on dollars.
Right.
That's not a $500.
I mean, that's really fancy signs and trash receptacles and stuff. But again, like you said, if we go with North Country Council and we can somehow merge our projects together.
Do you know what their project was?
I don't, but I know that they were using the same corridor management study that we were for the
Okay,
same project.
Okay.
So I believe it is the, they have, I think, 6 different routes listed on there. One of them was 112, another one was through the Notch. They had a couple of different routes in that corridor management plan. So we'll keep on trying.
Okay.
West Street. So at the last meeting, we discussed signage. Tammy, you asked about speed limit signs.
Yes. Speed limit.
Nate said there has never been speed limit signs, or that he knows of, on West Street, and he had reservations of putting them up because they would have to be at the
Posted at 30.
at 30.
I agree with not posting that at 30, because holy cow.
We don't want people driving down West
No.
Street going 30 miles an hour. So we don't want to advertise it at 30 miles an hour. If
Is
we
there-
wanted to
yeah.
petition, we could get the PD involved, and we could petition to lower it through the state, but it would still be at 25.
Yeah, caps at 25.
Yes. So if we want to post signs, we could definitely go down that route, or we could just leave it as is.
I can't even imagine doing 30 down that road. Can't even imagine.
No. Well, and that's what he said. He said, we don't really want to advertise.
That's the
that.
thing. I mean, that almost says, oh, I'm going 30.
You can go 30, yeah, I'm going 20, I can go faster on this
Yeah,
road,
yeah.
so.
Through the gate. They get hard because they crest over the hill at 30.
Yeah.
through the gate.
they're not
They just hit the
stopping.
gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And the gate is installed, it is not hooked up to electricity yet. They do have to do a little kind of makeshift, it's not quite long enough. So, but it was the longest gate that Nate could get without going too far over into the landowner's property. So he's crafting something. It doesn't look really great right now because he's just got like a piece of conduit stuck to the end of it.
Fiberglass.
But he was gonna order another section of that arm because those arms are breakaway, and they're supposed to be breakaway like that. So he was gonna order another section of the arm and attach it to the end so it looks more uniform and like it's one piece put together, so.
Oh, Jim has a question.
Oh, Jim.
If you don't post any speed on West Street, somebody goes down there at 35 miles an hour, would the cops have a right to stop?
Yes,
Yes, because the state speed limit dictates the minimums and maximums on rural roads.
Right.
So, yes,
the maximum on that road is 30 per state law. And,
Yeah.
That's at the driver's test. I was just helping someone study for that. That's how I know.
That's a
good
good
question,
question,
'cause I did
not know that.
yeah.
Would that apply to my street too?
No.
This car's going my street 40, 50 miles. an hour.
Actually, yes, it would
East
apply to
Spur Road.
yours, East Spur, I'm thinking Connector Road, but yeah, East Spur and Pollard, yes, absolutely, it would apply to that. No
I
question.
mean, they use my street as a drag strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like 100 feet wide. Oh, Paul?
OJ, if you're not gonna post the road, could the town quite possibly put some signs up to say, slow children playing or something like that? Because I think there are some children on that street. Just something to, bring their attention to the fact that it is a rural area, maybe, and there are children that are playing on there, so just something maybe to help out there.
Good, yeah, I don't see the harm in it.
If he has them, if he has some, have him fill them up.
Because I think there are some children on that street, so it might be,
That would make
instead of,
a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit
No
sign,
kidding.
to me.
There's also a number of Airbnbs on that street too, I think, Paul. So you're
Yeah.
right. We've got, guest visitors on that street. So it's wise to, forewarn us for,
thank you.
Okay.
Also in regards to West Street, I brought this up at the last meeting. I told the landowner, the property owner, that I would bring it up to the board again, 44 West Street. Since the construction and the new crowning of the edge of the roadway sits higher than the driveway. And it's creating a puddling effect at the base of her driveway because then the driveway tends to have an incline. She would like the town to build up the base of her driveway. I expressed to her that I didn't foresee that happening, that if we were to do so in some fashion to her property, we'd have to do something similar to all the other properties on the roadway. And as that project is already over budget, that I did not foresee the town.
Well, and we'd have to go retro as well, because I know of another property owner on another street that was done, that the same thing happened. Once the correct grade came up, that it was draining into the garage.
Right.
And they mitigated that, the property owner mitigated it.
So I told her I would bring it to the board, but that I did not foresee a positive outcome for her.
Were there other properties on that road that had some runoff issues with the design of the new road?
I think we've addressed a majority of the issues with the turf establishment, and they did have to cut some shoulders down when they came back out this spring, and whatnot. I don't know. I can't honestly say if every single driveway is in the same scenario.
the area behind the Oops. I went down there after a rainstorm and it had a major puddle there. And
Well, it's a dirt
yeah, not,
parking lot.
no, it's not dirt there, it's asphalt, but it had a major ponding right there.
Behind the Lewis building, that's dirt, and that's a dirt parking.
I
lot.
did talk to Nate about that, and Nate said that's always been there. He
Yes,
said there's always been a
always.
puddle behind the
Okay.
building on
Always.
private property,
Yes.
so. I did speak to him about that, and he said,
Okay.
as far as he knows, there was always a puddle behind that building.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether
Yeah.
the new construction caused it or not. I didn't go behind the building.
Yeah.
Before.
You know, I did express to her that, I understood her frustration. I personally live on, I personally have a driveway that's below the edge of the roadway, and I get a mudslide down my driveway.
So do
'cause-
we.
Yeah. So I understand her frustration, but,
yeah,
I don't think the town can repave her driveway for her.
we can't.
Paul?
Yeah, I'd just like to make the comment that it's kind of a two-sided coin here because the town expects people to not let their drainage water run onto town roadways. And they expect that, the owners to mitigate that. But yet when a project comes up, as a result, it does put more water on private property owners. It seems to me that there might be some sort of a collaborative effort that's made, whether the homeowner chips in part, the town chips in part. But like I said, I know there have been times where on private properties, their water has run onto town roads, and the town has taken a stand that, you can't do that. You have to take care of your water. You can't just let it run on a town road. So it seems to me that there should be some sort of an effort made to mitigate that without the town, maybe paying all of the cost, but maybe the homeowner paying some and the town paying some might be an opportunity to go forward and everybody be happy.
And I want my money back. He did Pleasant Street. It was running right down the driveway into the garage. So I had to have them come and build up in front of the garage, so it ran down the sides of the driveway onto my property instead of into the garage. But I had to pay for that.
See, Tammy, I don't think you should have had to either. I mean, I just think the town should, if the town wants it one way, then we ought to kind of expect to give a little on the other side too. I mean, it's kind of hard to be one way, isn't it?
I think, yeah, it's the homeowner's driveway. The homeowner's gonna pay for it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
but if we caused it, I mean, it becomes,
Right.
my opinion. If
If
it was a pre-existing condition, then I own it. But if the town caused it, I'd be on the position, on the side of the landowner here and say, hey, you caused it, you've got to fix it. You broke my window, you got to repair it. If I broke it, I got to repair it. Are we holding any money back on retainage from the contractor?
We are holding 2% retainage, but I mean, we're already hundreds of
Over budget,
thousands
yeah.
of
No,
dollars over
I know
budget.
where we're at.
But if the road was not correct prior to construction, and we have drainage dictated by the state.
Right.
And now it is at the correct grade. How can we be responsible for that?
I tend to agree with Tammy on this, is that the town was obviously not, the road prior to construction was not constructed to a state standard or a town
Correct.
standard. Now that it is to a town standard and it's crowned properly,
Right.
And with the dictation of the drainage from the state, and we had to connect into their
Right.
drainage system, and they kind of dictated where the road was going to be and where the drainage was going to be. I tend to agree with Tammy that it's setting a precedent and opening a can of worms that we're then going to need to address.
Holy cow.
Dozens of these.
Mhm.
Could possibly, Paul?
Yeah, but if I could comment further, I mean, when you crown a road, it's the elevation of the road that changes the drainage. So you can crown a road all you want. You can just drop the elevation a little bit so it doesn't go onto somebody's property too. I think that it sounds, I mean, the drainage wasn't right up to the road surface, so obviously the level of the road could have been dropped down a little bit to make a pitch one way or the other, either going towards Main Street or the other way. But I mean,
Well, I think
We
where
couldn't-
we connected into the state's drainage, I think dictated the elevation of the road.
Exactly.
well, correct, it did, correct, Karina, it dictated the elevation of the outgoing pipe, but not the elevation of the catch basin top. So I mean, a pipe below the grade, it does dictate that because you have to have a certain amount of pitch to get the water out of there, obviously, but the top of the grade from the catch basin rim down to where the top of the pipe is can vary. So I mean,
Level between that pipe and what the road is a certain level of what has to be there for material, again, dictated by the state. 'cause it's theirs.
No, but
area that
I don't think there's-
No.
I don't think there's any catch basins on West Street, just down past the gate
At
towards
Main
Main
Street,
Street.
yeah.
The water, because West Street's below Connector Road, you'd have to pump it up to Connector Road. I don't think there's any
Goes-
catch basins
Right, so it's,
along West Street until you go down over the hill, and there's one right behind the hoops. That's in his parking lot.
What I remember the design was that the water, just like my road, was being shed off to the sides.
Right.
Obviously, I rode down towards your house, there's catch basins.
Yeah, we have 4 on the corner.
Up at my end, there isn't one until you get all the way around.
Yeah, I don't think there's any catch basins. on
right, but I mean, OJ, when you did yours, obviously there was a problem with the puddle, remember? Because it was all running and stayed right there. I mean,
the corner.
the grade, when it does run off the crown to right or left, it's supposed to go obviously as well laterally with the road and not onto someone's property. So or to a basin. So when you crown it to the right and left side of the road, it's obviously supposed to run along the length of the road down to either a catch basin or whatever point you're getting rid of. And usually what they do is they'll space catch basins out along one side or the other road. When your road was done, there was a problem there too, if I'm not mistaken, and that was corrected. They had to correct that as well because there was a big puddle there.
They did a shim and overlay to build that up.
Yeah, they built it up and ran it off onto my lawn. The whole,
Free water.
the whole section up by me, around the corner is all crowned to shed off. The
And
first
that's up onto your lawn.
in-laws house is the first catch basin, so it goes all the way around the corner. And again, we're not talking about Hanson Farm Road, but there's a lot of places in town where the water is designed to shed off to the sides. No catch basins. Including virtually all of West Street until you get down to the very Main Street end of it.
I don't know, I just thought that, the town could work with them somehow to make it a little less burdensome. I can't imagine how much you're talking about dollar wise. It can't be that. And I'm sure the town crew could.
All right,
have this.
I propose we table the discussion on this. I'm willing to meet Nate and walk the road with him, and if either of you two want to do it, so we can see what it is and then discuss it.
I think that's fair.
Do you want to,
I did walk it,
oh, you did walk it,
talk with a homeowner a while ago.
okay?
Be happy to go back with Nate and get his input. You-
All right, I'll see what I can set up for a time. With Nate.
If we do it together, it's gonna be noticed. If we do it individually,
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll notice it.
Yeah, just let us know and we'll post it.
All right, I'll talk to Nate about his schedule.
All right, some great news. South Peak Water Tank.
Yes.
We received the survey and the easement, and Nate is, Sam is putting together the finishing touches on the application for the Forest Service, so we should meet their end of July deadline for the 6 week in advance and be on the fall small projects list if everything goes according to plans. So, but the survey work has been forwarded over to Weston Sampson, so one step closer.
Awesome.
At the last meeting, we discussed inclusionary zoning, and there is an RSA called Innovative Land Use Controls. I printed it out for you, OJ. I don't know if you want a copy of it. I brought it with me.
Okay.
Because I know we were talking about potentially bringing this to the planning board of changing zones or making it more, advantageous for lower density and to bring workforce housing in. So I did look that up. And also in that same RSA, it also talks about impact fees and what we can and can't assess them for. So that's included in the other additional highlighted section. And we were correct that impact fees are truly for water, sewer, public, something that's, sewage, right? Safety and health issues essentially. And it's a portion of what would be added to the current system. So it couldn't, we'd have to justify if someone was coming on with a subdivision and they were adding, let's say 100 homes, it would have to be proportionate of what those 100 homes would be adding to either the water system or the sewer system or something along those lines. Can't just be for anything that we want it to be, although we would like it to be. Moving forward, you all have been invited to the Grafton County Senior Citizen Council's 50th anniversary on July 14th, 11:30 to 12:30 at the community center.
Thursday, right?
Thursday, July 14th. Yep,
Okay.
11:30 to 12:30. An update on Janine Wood trial. Her attorney has filed a motion to reconsider the most recent decision that was favorable to the town of Lincoln. So we are in another holding pattern until we receive a decision on that.
So next, it's on my calendar.
August 2nd, I think, the date. was.
No, that's.
Oh, that's Nelson.
Yep.
Never mind, sorry. I
Yeah.
was thinking it was. Okay.
No, this is
So next Thursday, I'm still on.
next Thursday, you're still on.
Got it.
Yes. But this was the motion to reconsider, this, her second motion to reconsider that the judge ruled in our favor. And now she's appealing that decision, so.
We're all on next Thursday, right? 12:30?
12:30, he said, if you would like an update, he feels like that's the best time. He said, but if you're unable to, he could provide one via email or an memo or something along those
He's
lines.
coming by anyway, isn't he?
He is coming
Yes.
because he is gonna meet with Nate and, I think Butch.
Butch.
Yes,
Okay.
Now, is he getting here 12:30, correct?
yes, at 10:30 is his, is the hearing.
Drafting.
And he said he would like to come straight from the hearing here because
Yeah.
it'll be fresh on his mind. He said he plans to be here for 12:30.
Okay, does he want to meet with us first, Nate, Butch? I mean, I'll show up at any time, but
Right.
if he needs, a half an hour with each one of those, I'd rather not sit around and wait.
Sure. I think he was thinking about doing it as a group, but I will confirm with him.
Okay,
Definitely on
I've got it in,
timing.
I'll be here anyway, because I. the stuff I
Okay.
can get done.
I'll confirm if he wants to do individually, or if he wants to do as a group.
okay.
Okay.
And then August 2nd.
August 2nd,
Is jury
Jury
selection.
and he
And-
wants someone there from the town.
Correct. And
Present.
I cannot be there that
Right.
day.
Jack has CIP.
OJ's raising his hand.
I'm happy to go.
Okay.
However, depending how long that lasts, I may not volunteer for the National Night Out, at least the setup part of it, because I don't know what time I'll be back.
Right.
Which,
That's
put that in my calendar to
Yeah.
do, but
I can help.
I'm gonna be over, if I'm in Grafton,
I don't know what time, yeah, and I don't know
Right.
how long it's gonna
Oh.
last.
I mean, yeah, we might be out by noon time, no problem.
Right.
All right. Do we know what time that jury selection is?
I don't think he put that in the email. I don't
It's
remember
not in the
seeing it.
email, so yeah,
I'll wait to hear from him.
Okay, I'll confirm time too.
perfect.
I know that just from personal experience, that they will most likely be doing multiple juries that day, multiple jury selections that day. So you could be the first jury selected, or you could be the last jury selected.
I won't book anything else for that day until I find out what time slot we're talking.
Okay, I can confirm with that, so. And then I can be there whenever the trial is, whenever the trial date's set, we'll figure that out.
Okay, and that's great, but I'm gonna plan on being there also.
Okay, perfect, to humanize the town.
Yeah.
Don't bring your kids.
I'll sit there and cry.
I'll hand you
Shouldn't
some
make fun of
tissues.
No, we shouldn't.
We should always laugh. Laugh and swear.
Okay,
That's all I got today.
anything else? All right. I have two things, but both questions about updates on personnel issues that we've previously discussed. So we'll do that in non-public.
Sure. I actually do have one more thing. I apologize. We all received the second quarter financials. Just, and I'll say it again, we're gonna be in trouble when it comes to heating fuel and electricity. With the electricity rates that are doubling in August and heating fuel. I mean, we're great in other areas of the budget, so I think overall we'll be totally fine, but in those individual line items in every department, we're gonna be, I mean, it's uncontrollable, unfortunately, so.
I'm seeing that in my own personal budget as well, so I
Right.
understand.
But that's all I have.
Participating.
Nothing?
I just wanted to comment on Independence Day. Fourth of July parade was amazing.
Amazing.
46 entrants this year, which is just very cool. And we had some really awesome judges. Gil Rand sits in front of Fadden's and he grabbed a young girl, and she was 14 from, I think she was from Connecticut, and then another lady, yeah, I'm gonna say young lady, I think she was from Rhode Island. One was, I could be missing those up, but just fantastic. And they raved about the parade in town and the community, and
I agree. This was my first Lincoln 4th of July parade, and, you know, I brought my family, and my husband turned to me and said, this ain't no Plymouth Christmas parade, because the Plymouth Christmas parade is over in about 4 minutes, and, you know, we
Well,
were
it's
there
usually
for.
0 degrees too. when it
Yeah, I
goes
mean,
through.
it was, we
Yeah.
were very impressed. It was a great day, so.
The fireworks were fantastic. I heard compliments on the fireworks.
Yep,
were
they
great.
were.
Yeah.
I thought they were very good.
However, my grandson fell asleep during the first one. When he was out, so everybody else stayed awake for
The,
it.
the warning shots to shoo the ducks out of the pond.
Gotcha. Johnny and Stucks.
John, did you have any complaints on the 4th about fireworks being set off improperly or any citations issued?
You'd have to check with Chad on that.
I
was-
did check with Chad, and he said it was one of the quietest years he's had,
Oh, good.
so.
He made a similar comment to me that.
Quiet, right?
I did hear a couple of, I don't want to say complaints, more disgruntled comments about the confetti cannons, which I think are fantastic. And they were all biodegradable. Lincoln did nothing, no cleanup, no nothing. When the dew settled the next morning, they all just dissipated and went away, because that's what they're designed to do.
I will say that
Yeah.
that was one thing that made me nervous when I was here. I said, oh, poor Nate.
Well,
Oh,
the
no."
first year that group did them, they didn't buy the compostable, biodegradable, disappear with the little water ones. So since then, they've spent the extra.
Yeah.
And even show me, look, this is what we have, and it's, you know, non-toxic and safe, and, you know, the whole.
Well,
bit,
and I
so.
thought it was great. There were, you know, people at the end of the parade picking up all the leftover candy on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, it just, all around, I thought it was
Yeah,
well
it was-
orchestrated. Yeah.
Just a fantastic day, great parade, fantastic day. And the little 4-year-old girl that won the backpack and helmet prize on the bike was so excited. It was good, great parade, good day, great parade. I just wanted to comment, and the police officers did a fantastic job at the side streets and keeping the traffic at bay. And even though I had to go around the cruiser to get over there to award the prizes, because they set up at Alpine and then ride down to Fadden's, and then from there, back roads over here to give out prizes. So, yeah. It's fun, though. It was a great day. We have a great community. And although I wasn't there, I heard that the Rotary Barbecue at the Common in Woodstock, Soldiers Park, went great, from what I understand. And they had a great concert there that night too, good music, so. It was a great day.
All right, I'll open it up then for public participation. Cliffy.
Yes, I'm here for the fire department. Okay? Ron probably knows what I'm gonna talk about. Fireman caught a call going to the fire station on this main street are going too fast. There's gonna be an accident, okay? Because they go too fast, and I told Ron time and time again to speak to his men, to tell them to slow down. But they haven't slowed down. Not that I know of, not, because I sit in the backyard and watch it, and they don't slow down a bit.
No,
What do you say to your men?
I tell them to,
You're not saying enough to them, you're not stern enough,
Cliffy,
as
can
I
you,
say.
Cliffy, can you just address the board? and-
Yeah, talk-
and
talk
not
to
the
us.
fire chief?
So-
Thank you.
So you
Talk
want
to
us,
us.
okay,
Oh, all right, okay.
you
But
Yeah.
that's one thing that's bothering me. Because somebody's gonna get hurt.
and you're talking about them getting to the fire station in their own personal
Coming to the
vehicles,
fire station,
not in the,
up the main street,
not in the trucks, okay. All right,
somebody's gonna get hurt.
And that
I'll
would,
tell you that right
not be
now,
good.
and I complained to Ron time and time again, but I don't see nothing done. You know, that's the worst part. All right. I had something else, but now I forgot. Old age.
all right, if you think of it before we
Yeah.
Yeah,
leave.
I'll take it before I go.
okay,
right.
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've addressed it several times. Obviously, I can't be in the vehicle when they're coming here.
Right,
So a lot of them are on, 3 of them are on right now. So, and they're all officers, so
Great.
we'll address it again at the next meeting.
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate that.
Anyone else for public participation? Jim?
Yeah, I understand that you are kind of pushing, I don't want to no hard feelings or anything else. But you're trying to push this Ryan Fairbrother to be fire chief of Lincoln.
I don't think anyone's
First
pushing
I've
anyone
heard,
to
I'm
do
not
anything.
pushing.
That's the first I've heard.
Okay.
We have a fire chief. He's sitting right there.
You've got a man that was a fire chief in Manchester for years. That probably has more qualifications than you guys were looking for when you were trying to hire a fire chief. That would like to be fire chief in Lincoln, Al Pullen. Would this board consider Al Pullen? to
The
be a fire
position's
chief
not
in
open.
Lincoln?
Say, yeah, when the time comes to replace the fire chief, we'll be open to
Any,
anything.
Cross
Cross
anyone
that
who
bridge when
applies.
we come to it.
The thing is,
Yeah.
Ron has left being a full-time employee of the town where he's doing code enforcement, helping with the planning board,
Health officer, yeah,
health
the whole-
officer, that's what he's leaving. He's remaining fire chief.
right.
And we're comfortable with him staying on as fire chief until something comes up where that changes.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
comfortable.
But Al Pullen put an application in to the department and they would not hire him. With his qualification he's got, and you don't want to put him in there, that's a loss for the town of Lincoln. With the knowledge he's got, he could help this fire department, but you wouldn't take him. I don't, or Ron, but that's a no-no. It's gonna help us with the knowledge. He was how many years in Manchester Fire Department? What's enough? He's got more knowledge than all of us put together. I had 54 years in the department. He's got more knowledge than I got. And why they turned down this application, I don't know. Do you people know?
We're not gonna discuss a personnel issue. I understand that we received an application, and that's about all I'll say. So, is there anyone else for public participation?
Cliffy, did you remember the other thing that you wanted to?
What's that?
Did you remember the second thing? Other
No,
than,
yeah.
not yet? Write it down, write it down, bring it back next time.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry, Paul?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So the tank with the tank with South Peak Development. From what Karina said today, it sounds like it's going along well. Do you have any anticipated timeline when that may be online or when it's expected to be started construction or finished? So it could be completed and put on the town system?
So the next major step is this Forest Service meeting where they line up what they call their small projects, okay? If we get on that list, they will give us a timeline of their approval process, because we're putting this on Forest Service land.
Right.
So until that happens, no, we don't. Once they tell us that we can, number one, put it there and what the timeline is for their approval process, then we can, because then it's just a matter of our engineers actually designing it for the exact location
Going out to bid.
and going out to bid and all of that stuff. So there'll be the timeline forecast will start once we know where and when the Forest Service lets us build the tank.
and there's also gonna be requirements from the Forest Service, environmental studies that are gonna need to be done, and
Maybe.
to what extent they'll need to be done. So until we have those kind of definitive things, it's hard to say we'll be online
Yeah.
next year or
Yeah.
next summer or whatever it is.
Right.
The key is getting past this small projects list, getting on the list, and then hearing from them what they're gonna
Require. of us.
require and what the timeline is related to those requirements.
All right, so it's, I guess my question was leading towards financing of this. So the financing of this tank is, and I'm not sure how the financing is gonna go. I mean, is it 50-50? Is it all the towns? And are there funds, all the funds have are they appropriated, or does the town need to appropriate those funds and because they haven't been done yet? Or I guess I'm just looking for how that all meshes together and, because of the Forest Service, if they could expedite this, I don't know if they would, but I mean, if it was done in an expeditious manner, is the town ready to come up with the funds, or would it just need to be is it a bond? Is it how's that gonna work?
The town has received a grant from, is it Northern Borders?
Yeah.
And there was, the match for that has been appropriated by the town.
Right.
So we have that bundle of money.
And how much was that?
It was
$1 million.
it was $1 million.
$1 million grant and $1 million
We
match.
spent money out of that.
Right.
We
No.
spent some of that money, but
Five
It's
and
500,
oh, 5 and 5.
500.
Sorry, you're right.
so $1 million total.
$1 million total.
And what's the total cost of the tank?
Well, we don't
We
know
don't
yet.
know yet. We have an estimate, but that's about it.
The South Peak developer is going to pay us the amount it would cost him to build the tank that he's being required to build per the planning board approval back in 2006.
Right.
Okay, so the engineers will say, okay, this tank is lower, it's smaller, it's over here, it would cost
X amount.
X. He's gonna contribute that amount. And then there is there money in the CIP, or is it just water tap fees?
Tap
No,
fees.
that was the
It's
tap.
The
it's the
tap
tap
fees,
fees,
okay,
yeah.
the rest will be is coming out of the tap fees.
Yeah, there's roughly $1 million in each of those accounts.
So we should be all set with money.
Okay.
and-
Is there an engineer's estimate for that tank, OJ?
No, we don't, because
Weston Sampson.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
didn't we have one at like 3.2 or
3.2,
something?
yeah,
it's an old
3.2
ballpark,
million, Paul,
3.2
was
is
one of the
rough.
it's a guesstimate at
It's an
this point.
old ballpark
it's an
figure.
old ballpark
Yeah,
figure.
it is.
Okay, it's an old estimate of 3.2. Okay.
And didn't the developer put up a
A line of credit at
line of credit
1.5.
1.5 or 1.8,
Yeah,
1.5?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
And that'll probably rise.
So you're not gonna be that far off. You're not gonna be that far off if the Forest Service was to say go.
Right, we're in good shape.
We're in good shape.
All right, that's all I was looking for. Thank you.
Plus there, back before the world fell apart in 2008 and 9, the main line running up to the water tank, they were blasting and burying that pipe. So
Right.
obviously that's still sitting there unused, but that doesn't have to be built. And I think that was in that original 3.2
2 estimate.
estimate. And granted, prices have gone way up since then.
So we'll probably still.
Yeah, that was my next comment. I'm sure inflation is gonna change that price quite a bit, but
Yeah,
think upon when it gets done, but thank you. It was good. Good to hear.
thank you. Jim?
Also, getting back to what I said, I didn't realize that you people were keeping Ron on as fire chief, where he's working at Waterville Estates 5 days a week, I assume 5 days a week. But if the time ever comes, I hope you would consider Al Poole.
I think we'll entertain any experienced candidate that applies.
We would
Yeah.
advertise it, obviously.
But I didn't
But no,
realize.
you're right. His background is,
Yeah, I
Super
just
impressive.
assumed where Ron was working at Waterville Estates, that you'd be looking for another fire chief here in town.
Not currently.
Really not much difference than when I worked in Twin Mountain for the DOT.
Right.
correct.
It was 25-minute commute one way. So I've always been the appointed part-time chief. That hasn't changed. When I became full-time with the town, it was code enforcement, health officer, which was the other portion to make it whole.
Right.
So really, it's just dropping off the code enforcement, health officer, added duties with the planning department, which took me out of the full-time. So
Cliff?
What is he a full-time chief or a part-time chief?
always been the part-time.
Part-time.
You always been, you were never been?
I never got into the group 2 insurance.
Correct.
That's what I wanna know.
Yep. All right, I'll make a motion to go into non-public to discuss 2 personnel issues.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.